Hey guys, and welcome back to the More on Our podcast. I'm one of your spooky co-hosts, Zach.
Spooky. And I'm the other one that's not equally as spooky, Dan.
Don't forget to share the podcast with your friends and family, because of course sharing the podcast is sharing the spookiness of this one. So,
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%.
exactly. Like and subscribe. So, we're going to jump straight in with the Moronic or Not section once again. If you are new here, this section is where we get 5 random words or short phrases from you lovely viewers and collectively decide whether that thing or word is moronic or not. That can be the concept, it can be the thing itself, or it can be from just one of our personal experiences. And the beauty of it is that it is entirely subjective, meaning you guys can have an entirely different opinion to us, and it doesn't matter because it's all a bit of fun. So,
Yeah.
the first one on here, of course, they are going to all be Halloween and or spooky themed. So, the first one on here is Halloween. So, I'm guessing that's just
Yeah,
the holiday.
actual tradition.
Yeah, I'm guessing
Alright,
so, yeah.
It's you celebrate it, to be honest. I'm kind of old for it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite a big fan of it. Purely because of the whole like thing behind it, if that makes sense. Like we take a day out of the year to celebrate fear. I find that really I like that, and also I like watching horror films on Halloween. I don't know. It's just got kind of a nice feeling to it. But I feel like Halloween is very different in the UK and the US though, because in the US they've obviously got like more community cohesion type thing, so everyone's more like together. So like Halloween is a bit more grand over there, whereas in the UK you'll get like 5 maybe 6 houses down your road, depending on how long your road is, obviously.
Yeah,
But in America, I feel like there's a lot more kind of hype around it. I mean, Halloween was originally an American holiday that we kind of stole, so
yeah,
it makes sense. But I mean, I quite like it. There's only a few things I don't like. I don't like
for people.
I don't like the fact that trick or treaters start coming out at like 5 p.m. while I'm eating dinner. That I don't like.
I just don't like answering the door.
Fair. And I also don't like the fact that they start selling the decorations in like November. They start selling the decorations in like mid-August when it's pointless.
Oh yeah.
It's like, one other thing that I don't like is the fact that they start selling Christmas, Christmas ads. They're already on TV, and we're recording this in late September. Bear in mind, viewers. So,
back to school and Christmas.
It's back to school and Christmas ads.
I was gonna say that.
That's all it is at the moment. I don't watch too much TV anymore because I'm not 80 years old and actually have access to streaming services.
Nothing good on TV.
No, there never is.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, Halloween, I quite like it. It's a fun holiday, I think, especially if you're like really young. You go out and you go and get free food. Even though on any other day of the year, getting candy from strangers is a big don't do it. But, I'm not the judge. But yeah, I really like Halloween. I would give this a not moronic.
I'll give it a not.
Okay.
For the moment, yeah.
Okay, for the moment. Ooh, could change halfway through. The next one is skeletons.
Skeletons. Well, if we didn't have a skeleton, we wouldn't even exist.
True, we would just be a blob. I'll tell you what is weird if you really do think about it though. You are just like a skeleton with flesh around you. Like if you actually think about the human anatomy for a minute,
yeah, of course.
You have a random structure inside of you that you technically have no control over. You only have control over the muscles. You don't have control over the bones.
Yeah.
So it's really weird.
Control over some things, but like there's certain things you can't control.
Exactly, yeah. But I'll tell you what is interesting about skeletons. Have you ever seen on like Google, Instagram, news, whatever, have you ever seen like a child's skull?
Huh?
A child's skull. So a small human.
No,
Like,
no, continue.
okay. So if anyone hasn't, including Dan here, obviously everyone knows you have baby teeth when you're a child, and they naturally fall out as you get older. But if you look at a child's skull, they've got a line of their adult teeth above their regular teeth.
Oh, it's that. Yeah, I've seen.
So they've got like two sets of teeth on either jaw, on their upper and lower jaw, and it looks
Weird.
really creepy. It looks fake, but it's not. Like, it's really weird
Property football matches on.
because obviously you've got like your adult teeth that come through when you get older, and your baby teeth which are there when you're a kid. But no one thinks
Yeah.
about how the adult teeth are there from the beginning, and they just kind of slowly phase through.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's a weird thing. So if anyone wants to see what I'm talking about, I wouldn't recommend Googling it. Not because it's creepy or anything, purely because you might get put on a list if you're looking at child skull. But I mean, use a VPN or use I don't know, whatever else anyone else uses
And
nowadays.
that brings us to today's bizarre.
Yeah, no, we are not sponsored yet. If you guys want to sponsor us, please do. We want money.
Pretty sure people have just skipped 60 seconds of our.
Oh yeah, they've easily skipped this 60 seconds because they think we're talking about some VPN service.
That's true, to be honest.
Yeah, fair.
As soon as I say this, as soon as it says this video,
This
it
video is
just
sponsored
those
by...
big words. I'll just
whatever.
skip about 60 seconds.
Yeah. Okay,
3
so
minutes now.
I'd give skeletons not moronic because otherwise we would be a blob on the floor.
Just don't give them bows and arrows. That's what I'm gonna say.
That
Not
is true.
more
Don't give them bows and arrows and don't make them cubes. Little Minecraft reference for anyone there.
Or they give us music discs.
No, they don't. Those are the creepers that give you music discs. Anyway.
Without one of them, you're not getting them.
True. Right then. So, the next one on the Moronic or Not section is ghosts.
Oh, I don't know. I don't really believe in it. Many people fake stuff, to be honest.
Okay. So
Especially Americans.
yeah,
You know what
Americans
they're
love the whole paranormal activity stuff, but so you don't believe in ghosts? I mean, I do and I don't. I don't think they're what we think they are, if that makes sense. Like, you know how
yeah.
everyone kind of assumes they're these white floating people that are dead.
But
I think there's something similar, but I don't think it's ghosts, if that makes sense.
But what I don't get is like trillion people that died, plus every single animal on Earth.
Yeah.
Right. If it was like a ghost world,
Mm-hmm.
would it just be overpopulated?
Probably, yeah. But also, Dan, bear in mind that not everyone goes to the ghost realm because don't you have to have unfinished business or something to become a ghost? I swear that's the whole trope behind it.
I don't know. I don't really know or get it.
I'm fairly sure that's the whole trope behind it. But I'd go not moronic for ghosts because I'll get into it a bit more later. But I went to somewhere which was allegedly haunted and had some interesting activities going on there. But I'll get into that later. I won't put a time code up on screen because that was way too much effort to do that last time. So, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Just listen to the whole thing. You'll get to it eventually. So I'm going to go not moronic for ghosts because I don't want to upset the spirit world and then be condemned to a life of, I don't know what, if we ever go there.
Yeah, go on, we're going not moronic.
Exactly. We don't want to anger the ghosts. Right then. Next one is pumpkins.
All pumpkins.
See, I've always wanted to do pumpkin carving and I never have.
If I get 8 pumpkins, I get emeralds.
Oh, actually, no. I have done pumpkin carving. I did it last year. I carved the pumpkin To make it, I know people are going to call me lame for this, but I made it look like the Death Star. Yep, I made a Death Star pumpkin.
Oh, right.
It was really cool. I've got some photos of it on my phone, on my laptop. I'm not going to put any on screen because people will ridicule me for it. But you know what? I'll chuck it in our Instagram stories for anyone that wants to see it. So when this episode goes live, look on our Instagram stories. You'll see a picture of the pumpkin. And if you're too late, then oh well, you snooze, you lose. But I like pumpkins. Pumpkin carving was fun. I do want to do a pumpkin carving competition at some point. Just because why not?
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like pumpkins are a very American thing when it comes to like pumpkin carving and stuff. I feel like the British are very boring when it comes to that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, compared to America, it's...
I mean, America just do
Yeah,
everything bigger
yeah.
and better, really, don't they?
I wouldn't say everything.
True, they do. Fine, they do everything bigger, definitely.
Well, they are bigger.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are bigger, yeah. So they have to make their events bigger to fit the amount of bigger people that require it. That is true. We need to stop insulting Americans on this show. We've done it like 15 times in 15 episodes. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I think both countries do it to each other, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's like an odd relationship between, both of them.
Yeah. Right then. I'm going to go pumpkins, not moronic, because I quite like them.
Yeah, no.
They don't taste great, but it's fun to carve, so...
Yeah, I'll go not.
Okay. Right, the last one on here, and we're going to rate it first, and then we're going to do a little section on it. So the last one on here is scary stories. So...
Oh, yeah, they're good. I listened to some of them.
I like a couple scary stories. I actually have a few. Well, I have like one. But we're actually going to get into that in a minute. So we're just going to rate them first off and then we'll get into the whole stories. So I'm going to go scary stories, not moronic, because I really like them.
Yeah, I'm going to go not, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So on Instagram, before that, we're going to do a quick overview of the moronic or not section. So Halloween, not moronic. Skeletons, not moronic. Ghosts, not moronic. Pumpkins, not moronic. Scary stories, not moronic. I think that is the first ever time we've had a full-on not moronic or not section. So thank you to the wonderful viewer that sent those in. You can do that by Instagram, email, whatever. Just let us know your moronic or not section suggestions and you'll see them in a future episode. Now, we're going to get into the spooky stories. So, on Instagram, we asked you guys for your spookiest occurrence or experience. Now, I'm going to tell mine first, and then I'm going to go through a few of your guys, for a few of your scary stories. We did have to cut them down. A lot of them were clearly fake and awful. And I got one that was literally copy and pasted off of Reddit because I'd seen it before. So I have cut them down to 2 because they're all quite long. So I've cut it down to 2 that seem likely and could have actually happened, but I don't know.
We had tens of thousands of requests.
Yeah, because we definitely didn't get 5. Anyway,
yeah.
So my scary story. So most schools went to PGL, I think it is, in year 6 after you completed your sets. Am I correct about that, Dan?
Oh, that shit, yeah.
Yes. So my school didn't go to PGL. We went somewhere different. We went to a place in Pembrokeshire, Wales called Sealyham. So one night we're going around the forest that was on the grounds. It was part of the whole thing. And we played this game called Manhunt. From what I vaguely remember, it's like hide and seek, but with some extra bits. I'm fairly sure it's banned now, but this was like over 10 years ago now. So, can you blame us? Was it 10? No, it was over 8 years ago. Sorry, that's wrong. I'm not that old, not yet. So anyway, we started playing, and I had a great idea to just go up in one of the really tall trees. Right? They were like the really tall trees that don't. They're not like the standard kind of like oak tree where it kind of branches out, kind of. It was one of the thin, tall ones with a lot of small little branches that you can use as like handles to get up, right?
Yeah.
So the game begins, as in they're finished counting down, and I'm in this tree, right? On another tree, a fair bit away from me. I don't know how far away it was. It was a fair distance. There was like something sitting on one of the normal standard trees you see in like Hyde Park and whatever, right?
Oh yeah.
So this wasn't like a squirrel or an owl or anything. This thing was like human-like huge. Okay, it was kind of like a moving shadow, right? So my first thought, obviously, being a sensible 11-year-old, thinking, someone else had the great idea as well. So, big ups them. But it turns out I could not have been more wrong. So it turns to me, starts to leap from tree to tree towards me, kind of like a panther, like pouncing from like tree to tree, but it was human. Well, human-like anyway. So I immediately stopped caring about the game, obviously, as you do, and get down from the tree. It's not a jumpable distance, because if I jump, I'll shatter my legs and die, probably. So it's not a jumpable distance, so I climb my way down. It takes a few seconds, but this thing is a fair bit away that it's still jumping on the trees.
Yeah.
So I get down, start running towards the tree line, right? To try and get out of the forest and get fuck away from that thing. So, never spoke about this ever again. Okay?
Yeah.
But, once I got to the tree line, turns out someone else was running as well. Someone else from the trip was also running to the tree line for what I assume was the same reason. I don't really know. I didn't care at that time. But so I get to the tree line, turn around, nothing there. But bear in mind, this thing was chasing me while I was on the ground. Right?
Okay.
So once me and this person have both gotten to the tree line now, right? We have both gotten to the tree line. And what we do is we turn around, nothing's following us, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing is following us. So I have never spoken about this until years later to someone completely different, right? Someone completely different, to a bunch of random friends that I spoke to years later, right? I was telling this story in senior school. So I should mention that the person running with me also went to this school and was there a good few years later with me while I was telling this story. And they backed me up on it. They said, yeah, I saw it, I was there, it's actually real. Everyone else thought I was insane. Fair play. But, so, they backed me up on it. And I should mention that this place called Celium was an old hospital. It was like an old medical facility during the Second World War, I think. And had many people, like, die in there and was rumoured to be haunted. Right? It was actually rumoured to be haunted by the instructors. So, I can't really tell this half of the story. This is kind of a different story, but I can't tell it because I never saw this one. Right? But apparently, a few others kept seeing a woman in a white dress walking around like the halls and the grounds just in general, right? A few others saw this. I never saw it, so I was assumed, okay, fair enough, it's a ghost. but they saw it wandering around the grounds, and obviously they told the instructors the next day, and they keep saying that everyone has had that. Everyone keeps saying that. And that's the thing. It easily could have just been one of the staff members in a white dress, but I don't know. It was year 6. No one can really tell what's real and what's not at that stage. But whether you believe in the supernatural beings or not, or ghosts or whatever, that occurrence that I had in the woods is absolutely terrifying. Like, genuinely, I cannot describe the fear that was in me at that time. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
So, now I've told mine. Now, guys, I'm going to get into a few of yours. So, if yours is not in here, again, it was probably either really boring or fake or off Reddit. Thanks to the one viewer that did that, you prick. Anyway, so to the 2 viewers that stories are in here, well done. Anyway, so I'm going to tell this as best I can. I'm going to read it exactly how they wrote it, so you can't blame me for poor writing here. I know I butchered mine, but it doesn't matter. So, I and a few others, 5 of us, went to a Halloween party a few years ago, and after a while, we went to go get some drinks. Non-alcoholic, of course. And they were absolutely grim. My friend drank one and immediately ran to the bathroom to throw up. We got in there. It was empty. No one else in there except my friend throwing up in the toilet and the other 4 of us making sure he was all right. We followed him in to make sure he was okay and help him up if need be. We turn around because the taps start randomly turning on, one by one. So we turn back to look at our friend, and there's a tall guy standing right between us and where our friend is, wearing nothing but a black trench coat and a hat. Our friend finishes throwing up, turns around to look at us, sees absolutely no one there, apparently, and calls us all idiots. We go back outside a few minutes later after cleaning himself up, and we tell the guy who organised the party what had happened. He tells us that he'd been getting reports of similar events of it all night, and he'd been in there for 2 hours during this night, waiting for this occurrence to happen, and saw absolutely nothing. Our friend still doesn't believe us 3 years later. I tell you what, it could have just been another guy in a stall. But if we're going for the spooky story, it's a ghost. So, who knows? Spooky times. Spooky times.
I don't know.
It was a Halloween party, so it could be. Maybe they were in a haunted building. We just don't know from this story.
Yeah, true.
Right. The final story that I got was from a dear friend of mine. I won't shout them out because they said they wanted to remain anonymous. And I do apologise to them if I have butchered this, but they told it to me in person and I couldn't write it down in time. So if I mess up on a couple of details, forgive me, mate. So I was at a scout camp a few years ago, and we allowed some of the campers to run into the woods in random directions, and we'd come and find them as a game of hide and seek almost. On the last sweep, we're looking around, and I came across a random camp. It shouldn't have been there because it wasn't a designated campsite. So I look around in the surrounding bushes of said campsite and saw a guy. It was a fairly older guy, about 40s or 50s, and I swear to God he had a knife. So I quickly left with my team, obviously, and went back to the actual campsite as to not get stabbed. And this was late at night, bear in mind, in pitch black, apparently. So that is that story.
Pitch black, but they could see him.
I mean, there was clearly light from a fire, probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. So thank you, viewers, that provided those. Do you have any spooky stories, Dan?
In my life, to be honest.
No?
No, but I was just going to talk about some films that I've seen recently.
Oh, okay. Spooky films?
Okay, so... Oh, yeah, of course.
Go for it.
So the first one is a Taiwanese film called The Incantation. It's I'm gonna have to explain the plot. So, okay, so it's about this woman who like visits this sort of reverse Buddhist cult
Right.
like 5 years ago, and then she and it's like she was with a team filming a TV show. They
Right. Okay.
disrespected some of their cultural property, so
Right.
then basically you cursed her and the entire team, and it's like shot in found footage style, so it's her attempts to alleviate the curse.
Oh, okay.
So it's like The Ring, but in order to like remove it, she basically films like it's meant to be she films the entire curse and then spreads it on to other people.
Right.
So that
Okay.
it moves it to other people so that the thing wouldn't like attack her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really confusing. It's like 2 hours long, but it's on Netflix, and it's like meant to be one of the best films of this year. Apparently, I've seen it twice. Yeah.
I'll tell you what is a great horror film, and/or spooky film. The Woman in Black.
Oh, English.
Obviously, we watched that in English in what? What was it? I think it was year 9.
You're right.
Yeah, no, it was year 9.
Right.
It was year 9. Because that person kept hiding under the desk. You remember that?
Oh. Yeah, it was year 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we actually have a bit of a thing with the Woman in Black, don't we? We have an agreement, don't we? So, the agreement is with Jake, a former host here on the podcast, where we said that if he watches the Woman in Black, the full thing without pausing it, without walking out, whatever, we will watch the Sonic movie. And he still hasn't done it all these years later. And to be honest, it's probably never going to happen. But
did he watch Woman in Black in year 8?
I don't think so, because he was in one of the lower sets, wasn't he? So I don't think he ever watched
it. In one of the lower sets, they watched Hotel Transylvania.
Did they actually?
Yeah, set 8.
Oh my god. Oh dear.
I should ask Jake what set he is in for English.
I don't know.
Watch me be left on red.
Yeah, probably. We did message him a couple of days ago, and we were left on red. So Jake, if you're listening to this, answer your bloody phone, you moron. But yeah, I mean, it was a good little film. That I did really enjoy it. It's got Daniel Radcliffe. I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it, but it is a very, very good film. Go and watch it. It's an amazing film. I don't actually know why we watched it in English, to be honest.
So I wrote to Jake, bro, Zach wants to know what set you in for English, to reply this time, please.
Wow. Of course I want to know, not you. But I tell you what though, Woman in Black is a very good film.
What do you think? Be left on red or reply?
No, you'll be left on red.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But for anyone that wants to, go and watch Woman in Black. I don't think it's on Netflix, Disney Plus, any of the streaming services. But it's probably on Amazon or something. You can buy it you can probably buy a DVD of it or something. Would recommend it though. Would recommend it. Actually, speaking of horror films, I recently watched the 1980s version of It.
Oh yeah, I've seen that ages ago. Yeah, it's good.
It's a good film, but obviously nowadays the CGI is much better, so that is seen as awful. But after that, not after it. A few weeks after, I watched the updated version.
Oh yeah.
So the what was it, 2016? 2017?
Not too sure when it was, yeah.
I think it was 2016 or 2017. I could be wrong on that. But I watched that, and it's so much more terrifying with the good CGI, because it looks more realistic. Obviously, with the CGI being old, it's still terrifying in its own way. Like, I'm not saying the 1980s version isn't scary, because it still is. But the newer one is scarier because of the CGI, if that makes sense.
I do like the redesign of the
yeah, because if you think about it, the 1980s one, he literally was just a clown, wasn't he?
Just white, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was literally just a standard.
With a very, very white face.
Yeah, it was just a standard clown, wasn't it? Like, well, not standard clown. It wasn't like the, you know what I mean? Just Google it, people. If you don't know what we're talking about, I'm sure you'll know what we're talking about. But you know what? Speaking of clowns and horror films, The Killer Clowns back in 2016.
Oh, that shit.
That was a very, very interesting time. And I kind of miss it. I'm not going to lie. It was quite fun. It was a good... It kept... You know what? I tell you what. The Killer Clowns kept people inside better than COVID.
Oh, yeah. I remember
I don't know if you remember. People were terrified to go out. Like, I remember parents say... I remember the school saying to us, don't go to the park. Like, don't go out once you've got home from school. I remember the schools telling us that. And I remember... Do you remember the rumour? I can't remember when it was. It was obviously during that time.
Why was it going to Reading? But then people interpret it as, something else.
What?
No, someone said to me that their next destination was Reading.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and then people thought they were like coming to our school or whatever.
No, do you remember the rumour that like there was a killer clown outside the school and everyone was terrified to leave that day?
Was there?
Yeah, do you not remember that? The people started the rumour saying like, oh, there's a killer clown outside. So the school said, look, we might just have to keep the school closed for like another hour or something. They never did it in the end, but I remember them doing that, and it was quite... It actually was quite a good time. Like, I think 2016 might have been the best year, like in a while anyway. Because I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Like,
a long time ago, yeah.
Exactly, it was the peak of Pokemon. Think about it. 2016 at the start, nothing really happened. Then Pokemon Go came out, so everyone all over summer was just playing Pokemon Go. Everyone was out. Everyone was catching the little Pokemon, and then it went to like Halloween kind of time, and it became the Killer Clowns, and everyone went inside and just stopped. And they did keep people better in. They did keep people in more than COVID did.
Oh yeah.
I know some people obviously did stay inside during COVID and all the COVID restrictions and all that, but Boris didn't. So he broke his own rules. But yeah, it was quite a good time. I did enjoy that. As weird as it sounds,
yeah, it was quite
like it was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, do you actually believe in the supernatural or the paranormal or ghosts or whatever? What are your kind of views on it?
Well, on the whole scenario, I don't know how it started, to be honest. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Fair enough, I mean...
I don't really know. It's a bit of fun if it's not taken out of proportion.
Yeah. I mean, they have over in America, they have the Paranormal Activity show, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Where people just film themselves sleeping and then get dragged out of bed by a wire definitely not attached to their foot.
Oh, yeah, that.
I mean...
Oh, that's funny, yeah.
I'm not denying the fact that there might be ghosts or paranormal whatever, but
if it's a TV show, it's probably.
I
fake.
think when you televise it, it does start to get fake. That's when I think it goes out of proportion, because obviously
it is.
I mean, obviously, I've had a spooky experience with my Celium story, and obviously, clearly, some other people have. If these stories are real, back earlier in the podcast, but I actually think I believe in it all, because not the fact that like there's a ghost realm and all that. I feel like there's something paranormal, but I don't think it's what we think it is. If that makes sense.
No.
Like, I don't think it's ghosts, or I don't think it's the woman in the mirror, or whatever. I think there's something spooky out there that we just haven't found yet. Or there's like... Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I don't... Yeah, I don't really believe in it all. Because,
Fair
like... if there is, life after death for, like, humans...
Yeah.
Then it has to be the same for all living organisms, surely.
Not necessarily.
Well, why would it just be people? That makes no sense.
I mean, bear in mind, if you're going by that logic, think about the things that humans have done.
I've never seen a ghost fly in my life.
I mean, you're not meant to though, are you? Because they're made out of whatever it is they're made out of. What is it, ectoplasm or something? I don't know. It's something from Ghostbusters, I remember that.
If I ever see a ghost and it's unexplainable, I'd start to believe it. But
if you ever see a ghost and it's unexplainable,
for the time being,
talk about it on the podcast, dude. We need that. But I think there's something there. I don't think it's like a little green blob from Ghostbusters. I think it might be something, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I guess I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, for the time being.
But I mean, when it starts to get televised, that's when I think it's fake. Like bear in mind, we used to watch that show in the mornings. We'll shout it out. It's not on air anymore. It's called Most Haunted. It's on Prime if anyone wants to watch it.
This program is for entertainment purposes.
Oh yeah. So at the start of every episode, you can really tell it's fake because it does say this program is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
But they got, what was it called? It was like a spiritualist medium or something, right?
Psychic, I think.
Oh yeah, psychic medium. So basically, they got this guy that would go in and speak to the ghosts.
Yeah.
And he would go in, speak to the ghosts, and find out like the history of, I don't know, a castle up in Wales or something.
I remember something from it. Was it Father Henry Vaughan?
Yeah.
There was no accounts of this person.
No, there was no accounts of Father Henry Vaughan, but I mean, he talked to him, and don't forget, Dan, he also spoke to a girl that was aged from 11 to 8 to 78.
So stupid.
So basically, it could be anyone. But then, don't forget about the most important one, Morgan.
Oh, I was going to say that Morgan and Captain Rice.
Yeah, Captain Rice. Yeah. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, go and watch Most Haunted. You'll understand some of these references if you watch it, because this spiritualist medium goes in, talks to these ghosts. But the thing is, though, they actually went to real, allegedly haunted locations, didn't they? So they went to up like in the castle in Leeds. They went to all these allegedly haunted places. But whether it was actually real or anything, we don't know.
It probably used to not be real.
To be fair, you never know. Like, to be fair, he did actually get some of it right. Granted, it was probably fake, and he probably knew it all. But he did know that a girl did commit not living on one night after seeing like a ghost. What was it again? It was like a ghost dog or something, wasn't it?
What would they offer? Why would you offer yourself if you see a ghost?
No, because I don't think she knew it was a ghost dog. I think she just followed it and then it told her to jump, I think, right? Actually,
what?
something that is really spooky, going away from all of that, something that is actually quite spooky and interesting.
That makes no sense. Yeah.
I can't remember where it is, but there's a bridge in somewhere where any dog that goes on it
I've heard of that.
Jumps.
Dog just jump off.
Jumps. But the thing is, if they don't like finish themselves off the first time, they go up and do it again. But they've never found a reason for it. So I reckon there's something around that bridge that's got some kind of activity around it, I think.
I don't know.
I think that's got some kind... I mean, obviously, dogs can sense things that we can't, though, can't they?
Yeah.
Like, they can set... Because they can smell, like tumours and stuff, right?
Right.
And dogs can also smell when someone's blood sugar is too high or low for, like, diabetics. They can smell heart attacks up to half an hour before they happen. Like, that's an odd thing.
Yeah.
It's a very, very strange thing. But, I mean, it's cool. So, I'll tell you what is really kind of spooky now, though. Is, obviously, animals can sense things that we can't, right?
Yeah, of course.
With the dog, like the dogs and everything. But, there's a... Like, have you ever seen the videos of, like, an animal died, or, like, a pet died or something, and then the person gets another pet, and then they do similar, if not the same things, despite never knowing each other, blah, 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 blah.
Well, if it's the same, it depends what it is.
No, like, have you seen the videos of, like, they're, like, I don't know, say someone has to put their dog down or something. They obviously go to the vet, and then they come back without it, and their other pet is, like, staring at a wall or something. Have you ever seen those kind of videos?
No.
Because I've seen a few of them on, like, YouTube and stuff.
Sounds like BS to me.
I mean, yeah. But, I mean, if anyone else has seen one of those videos, or it's happened to one of their pets, let us know. We'll shout out your pet.
I don't really think it.
We'll shout out your pet in the next episode. But yeah, I think there is something supernatural in the world. I don't think it's what we think it is. I think it's something, like, completely unexpected and random.
No, I don't. To be honest, my idea is, well, if you die, that's it. I don't really believe in, like, an afterlife or anything.
I mean, you never know. You might become a ghost. You might be doomed to walk the earth for eternity.
Yeah, but, like, the thing is that when you're asleep, you know what I mean? You don't really know it.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
So it's a bit like that with death, isn't it?
I mean, maybe you don't know.
It's just forever.
I mean, technically, no one knows what death is like, because no one's ever survived death.
Well, no, there has been, like, some accounts.
Actually, that reminds me. Have you seen those like reports and stuff of children remembering their past lives allegedly? Like, have you seen the one where it's like the guy, like some kid from, like, the Middle East somewhere, remembers his past life and who killed him. So he goes back and meets his old family, points out the guy that killed him and goes, look, my grave is literally right here. And then when they dig it up, they find the guy that he says he is. They find his grave. Do you know what, like, whether that's all faked, it probably is, but
yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting concept, though, isn't it?
You need proof. Yeah, it's interesting, but.
Do you? So you know what? I need to ask you this then. Do you not believe in the devil? This is obviously a joke. Do you not believe in the people getting, what are they called, brought back to life by pastors and stuff?
No, that's fake.
No? Ah, shame. Because I know a great pastor that has definitely brought people back from the dead and they weren't just asleep. I'm obviously joking. That stuff is quite funny to see though. Like you watch it and you go, like, this is so fake. Or it's like when...
Have you seen Faith Healers?
Have I seen what?
Faith Healers.
No, what are they?
You know, they're people that claim to like cure blindness and deafness.
Right.
So there was a guy on YouTube. It was Darren Brown. He did a video about it. I think it was one of his TV shows, and there was a YouTube video where he claims to do it, but he says how people do it. So with blind people, for example, he would say, "How many fingers am I holding up?" He's wearing like a black, jumper, for example.
Yeah.
And he would put his fingers there on his like black shirt, but there'll be like a light,
okay,
and just shining on his fingers is just enough.
Yeah.
Impairment can just about see it.
Right. Okay.
And he just goes through like the tricks to, how they do it.
Oh right. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's really good. Like he just basically just shuts down the entire concept. It's really good.
Going back to something kind of really weird about the horror film industry, have you ever heard and or seen the film Poltergeist?
Oh, ages ago, yeah.
So I watched it years ago as well, but this contains spoilers, people. So if you haven't watched it and planning on watching it, skip ahead like 30 seconds or so, just so you don't have to listen to our spoilers. So skip ahead 30 seconds now. So, do you know the bit where they're in the hole filling with water and they find a skeleton?
Yeah. Yes, that scene.
You know those skeletons are real.
Were they?
Yes, because at the time it was cheaper to buy real skeletons than to buy and make fake ones. So they used real skeletons of people to make that happen.
Oh, right.
So that's actually something quite... I wouldn't say terrifying. It's kind of odd and kind of eerily creepy.
I wouldn't really say it's a moral thing to do.
I mean, bear in mind this was what, the 1980s or something?
Oh, yeah.
Like, when was Poltergeist actually made?
80s.
Was it?
I think it's in... It might be 1988. I'll have a look.
Poltergeist 1982.
Oh, no, we know.
So 1982 was Poltergeist. It's actually a very... Like, even if you don't even know about the fake or the real skeletons in it, it's a very, very good film.
It is good, yeah.
It's a great film. And I'll tell you what, for the 1980s, bear in mind the 80s didn't have that great films, because obviously CGI wasn't really a thing, and it was all practical effects and stuff like that, as seen in Star Wars, stuff like that. But I mean, it's a very good film, and I think the fact that it's made in the 80s makes it more scary, if that makes sense. Like,
right.
Like the word, like, you know how obviously every film camera nowadays is 4K, Ultra HD, everything. But I think because the camera quality wasn't as good in the 1980s, I think it makes that film better.
Yeah, I think so.
In a way. So
it's well made for its time, I think.
Yeah, very well made for its time.
Yeah.
I actually am going to watch Poltergeist again this year because I enjoyed it that much last year. Yeah, very good film, Poltergeist. Would recommend anyone watching it. I don't know if it's on Prime or anything like that. You might have to, once again, buy a DVD of it if it's a thing. If not, it'll probably be on VHS. But I mean, I saw it... How did I see it? I think I saw it on I see it on DVD or TV? Can't remember now. It was so many years ago, but yeah, it's a great film. Would recommend it. And it's not like a gory horror film, because obviously you've got two types of horror film, really, don't you? You've got the gory horror films, which are just like kind of like Saw and stuff like that, where all of the horror kind of comes from people getting their arms chopped off or whatever.
Yeah. No.
Whereas Poltergeist and stuff like that has like a creepier aspect to it. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not gory horror, it's creepy horror.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if any viewers know what I mean by that, but I mean,
Yeah.
watch it and you'll know what I mean. So, actually, what is your favourite horror film of all time, actually? What is your favourite horror film? Whether that be gory horror film or creepy horror film.
Spanish film.
Okay. What's that about? Is it more creepy horror or gory horror?
Very, very, very fast paced. Very fast paced. It's a zombie. What is it? Disease.
Okay.
And it's a supernatural film as well.
Oh, right. So it's got the triple whammy.
But it's. I think zombies are quite overused, but it does it in a really unique way.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's the American one, Hell House LLC. Get past the terrible title.
Fair enough.
The film itself is really good. It's no one really knows about it, but it's like gaining more of a popular name.
Yeah.
Because apparently it is. I've seen it like 5 times. It's really good.
Oh, right. Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah, I would recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime. It is very good. It's just no one's really heard about it.
Yeah, I might give that a watch this year. Actually, while we're on the topic of horror films, there is one film that I refuse to watch because it's because of childhood trauma because of this film. You ever heard of Coraline?
Oh, that's a strange film.
I'm not gonna talk about it too much. It was. I watched it first when I was like 6 or 5 or around that age, and it was fucking terrifying. So I refuse to watch it to this day. I refuse.
It's great because it's all in animation.
Yeah, that's what makes it creepier.
It's brilliant, like the actual style of it.
Oh yeah, no, the animation style is brilliant. It's really unique. I love it.
It's the choice the idea to put it in that way is just genius.
But it's a truly horrific film to show young children. I'll tell you that much.
It is, yeah.
See, I'd say mine is probably either It, the new one, or Poltergeist. Because Poltergeist is a very good film, but it kind of just has like the more horror aspect to it. Because obviously you've got, as I've said countless times already, 2 types of horror. I think for the creepy horror, I'd go Poltergeist. But for the gory horror, I think I'd go for probably It. I know it's not that gory, but I mean, a kid does get his arm bitten off. So, you know. I'll tell you what, Woman in Black has to be up there, actually. Woman in Black's a very, very good horror film. You know what, viewers? Let us know your favourite horror film, whether that can be gory horror or horror or creepy, whatever. Let us know your favourite film down in the comments, or message us on Instagram, or email us, whatever. Just let us know, because why not, really? We're curious, we want to know what you guys think, and let us know what you think, whether you believe in the supernatural or the paranormal or ghosts or spirits or whatever you want to call them. Let us know what you guys think about them. Do you believe in it? Do you not? Give us a reason why. Maybe we will talk about it next time if we get enough responses. And let us know what you guys really think about Halloween, really. I actually think it's one of my favourite holidays. I'm not actually sure why. I just really enjoy it. I mean, I've kind of got, I don't know about you, Dan, but I've got like a Halloween kind of, not a routine, what do you call it? Like a tradition. So I always watch, people are going to call me stupid for this, but I always watch Scared Shrekless. So it's Shrek, but it's like a creepy version. Well, it's not like the film of Shrek, but it's got a bunch of stories, it's got a bunch of characters telling stories, and it's really good. I really do enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have any Halloween traditions?
Not really.
No.
I don't really do anything for Halloween. I just stay in my bedroom.
Wow. So you don't watch a horror film on Halloween?
No.
So you don't go out trick or treating even though you're almost 19. You don't go out and scare kids with a fake knife. You don't become a killer clown for a week.
No, not really. Oh. There's still people these days out there like really really weird costumes and all that.
Yeah. I feel like Halloween is going to get cancelled at some point in the near future.
I just feel like it'd be forgotten about.
Nah, man. Halloween's a great holiday. It's brilliant. Like, genuinely, it's one of my favourite holidays, you know.
Sorry, but I prefer like Christmas, New Year's. New Year's my favourite.
Nah. New Year's is so boring.
I fucking love it.
New Year's is just like, oh, wow. We survived another rotation around the sun. Great. Halloween is like we celebrate fear. It's like, have you read the backstory of Halloween? Like, I'm not talking the film. I'm talking the actual holiday. Like, it's quite interesting. I'm not going to go too much in depth here, but It's very interesting. It's obviously American. We've discussed that, but yeah, I like Halloween overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to see more like this, you can go ahead and subscribe. We will see you in the next one. Don't forget to be spooky this Halloween. And we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Bye.